something like that. I don't know. I'm in an edit room. I'm never getting out of that edit room. I don't think it's ever going to end. I was all excited. You know, we're going to lock on this day in September. I'm like, great. I'm like, fantastic. And then it's behind me. All right? I did Fenway. That's behind me. Now the movie's behind me. They're like, nope. Then we do the color and the sound. I now know why directors have those fucking ZZ Top beards. You know, they just fucking get in there and I don't think they have time. It has to be, after a while, you just get it down. It has to be. I would think so. But my level of respect for directors, editors, producers, and all of that type of shit. This has been a very, very great thing for me to do. I am towards the end. But, you know, I really envisioned myself by mid-September having that old school football fan hat, you know, the hard hat with the 2 cups of beer and the straw. It went right to your mouth. Which was a funny idea. It was always a funny idea. Nobody really did it. You're not going to sit there like, what are you, like a fucking pacifier? There are certain things, especially back then, that you just, certain things you could not do. You could not drink a beer with a straw. I was just thinking if there was like a reality show where it was like whoever gets their ass kicked in a bar first, you know, gets to the next round, a good move would be to go into a bar that's known to have a bunch of tough customers, as they used to say, and go in there and get a beer and start drinking it with a straw. And then just looking at a few guys a little bit too long. If you survived, you would advance to... I flew great, by the way. Yeah, I flew fucking great. And it was a nice time out there, nice solitude, made me not think about anything other than, you know, what I had to do up there. It's a good time. I like flying out, going up to 5, Newhall Pass, and just going out there. It's a lot quieter. Up by Six Flags, bang a left, go to Santa Ynez. You know? It's always a fun one. Hey, any pilots out there flying to Santa Ynez? Where is the junkyard? I always hear over the junkyard. I know it's west of the airport, but I've Google mapped it. I cannot find the junkyard. Did there used to be a junkyard there, and now it's something else, so it's still just called the junkyard? The same way they say Old Mako for Burbank, even though whatever the fuck that was doesn't exist. Got to do something. I'm sitting around in this fucking house. It's driving me crazy. All right. Although I do like being home. It's a struggle. Well, you know what I do is I go for the walks when my son has a nap. My wife took a great picture of us yesterday. We were both sitting on the couch watching football. I'm watching football on the couch with my son. I mean, it's just there's nothing better than that. Nothing. There's no car. There's no drum kit. There's helicopter. There's nothing. There's just nothing. And we're sitting there, and I didn't even realize it. We were both sitting there the exact same way. And I had my hand over on my son. I was rubbing his head as we were just sitting there staring at the TV watching some college football. My wife took this great picture of us. It's just the best. Having the kids is the best. You literally make however many you have, you're making friends. People you can hang out with. I actually had a great conversation with my daughter last night. She was like watching TV, and I said, hey, can I ask you something? And she was like smiling because she wanted to watch her show. I said, can I ask you something? She goes, what? And I go, do you like me? And she immediately smiles. She goes, yeah. I go, am I a good dad? She goes, yeah. And I go, are you happy when I come home? And she goes, yeah. And I go, all right, thanks. You got to check in. got to check in. You can't be like, you know, do you go like, ah, fuck, the asshole's home? Sort of response that that I had on this fucking from a listener who also wasn't a doctor or a resident at a academic institution in a Midwestern location, which can be used to identify certain types of cancer. It's true that a radio labeled tracer is tagged to a sugar moiety, which is taken up by cancer cells. However, the truth is that every cell in your body uses sugar as its fuel. All food you eat is ultimately processed down to sugar. In fact, when looking at these scans, there is an orange haze produced as a result. What happens in cancer is that the cells are rapidly growing and thus need more fuel, so they take up tons of this sugar and thus look very bright on the scan. But most cancers aren't detected this way. Breast cancer is identified on ultrasound or X-ray, mammography. Colon cancer is identified with the colonoscopy. Hey, I've been there twice. Nothing identified, but they definitely looked around. I hope you've at least one given. I can see your scrotum peeking out from your pant leg. You get the point. Yeah, I think you're trying to say I'm old. Yes, I've had two. Is my voice? I've had two. Anyway. Parentheses S. Anyway, your comedy is excellent, and the podcast get me through so many chores around the house without wanting to die inside. I love that you're constantly working on yourself and your anger, and I am working on mine too for our first child, a girl. Oh, congratulations. Who will be here before I know it. Deep dish sucks, and go fuck yourself. Dude, you're having a girl. That's going to be the greatest thing for you and your anger. Because now, you know, you probably, I think if you're an angry person, you were treated like shit growing up, so you have some sort of self-loathing. So even if you want to do it for yourself, your self-loathing kind of gets in the way of it. When you have a daughter, forget about it. It's over. Now you have something undeniable that you have to do it for. That's why I was asking my daughter those questions. You know, are you happy when I come home and everything? By the way, she gave me a huge hug after she said yes. And you know what's cool now? She's now at an age I don't read her books anymore. Because she can read now. She said last night? She said, "Dad, I want you to put me to bed," and then she said something like, "Lie down and talk to me and ask me the questions you do." So what I do is at night I just lay down next to her. Hopefully I don't fall asleep. Her bed is comfortable, so I just lay down, and I feel like that's a good time to like check in on her, see how she's doing, see how it's going at school, and that type of stuff. And I'm telling you, the ride that you're signing up for is going to be great. And as much as what you're doing with your career is fantastic, you make sure you have enough time for your kids, because that's what it's all about. I know everybody knows that, but you still have to say it. All right, shitty neighbors. Shitty neighbors. Oh, jeez. Hey, Billy Big Screen, I'm reaching out to you as someone who has a bit of a neighbor problem and have a landlord problem. So a young couple moved into the apartment complex. Let me read that again. I'm reaching out to you as someone who's had a bit of a neighbor problem and a landlord problem. Oh, brother. Your landlord's not helping you with your neighbor, or they're both assholes in their own worlds? Oh, boy. Here we go. So a young couple moved into the apartment complex that my wife and I have lived at for 6 years, and they have a bit of a shitbox car collecting problem. Our lot has a